In the end, it doesn't matter how developed you think your technological advancements seem to be. Nature is always going to win.
Did anybody notice, like, when apps like The Pattern or what's the other one? Co-Star came out?
Yeah.
That wouldn't, well, more so The Pattern, not even really discussing astrology, but discussing astrology type of thing. Like, my brain automatically, the type of person I am, was in there like, okay, like I'm connecting this to what they're talking about this. Yeah, like trying to connect the dots, because I'm like, I can't read this without that. What are you doing? Like, no, tell me how you
getting this from.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because this synod period that started when Jupiter conjunct Saturn in 2020, it started a new synod period where the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is going to continue to happen in each of the air signs. So it's Libra, it's Gemini, it's Aquarius, where those two big planets, really, when it comes to responsibility and publishing, putting things out there, are conjuncting in air signs that have a lot to do with knowledge and information, you know, and sharing that knowledge and information.
It wasn't just to be confused and to be, non-committal to where you're just, floating back and forth between different realities and you have no sense of grounding or stability, which, is, toxic Gemini. But it was about explore, pick up some books and just look at a different side of this philosophy you adopted from your parents when you were little. Look at something. That was the whole point of the North Node in Gemini. Trine Saturn, like Marie was saying, trine Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn responsibility, Aquarius knowledge. Like, you still have to be responsible with the knowledge, and you're responsible for getting the knowledge. The only way you can acquire knowledge is through study. With this Uranus and Taurus square to that Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus and Taurus, I'm scrolling on YouTube. I'm seeing like ads of people who have robots living in their fucking house now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they have robots, like this Uranus and Taurus thing. I mean, I'm a fan of innovative ways of getting money. Uranus, Taurus, innovative getting money. But the whole, I'm fucking robots.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
Robots.
I can't, you know what I mean? No, like people, it's really getting to be, like someone had posted about that. I think one of the pills had posted about that. Like, they shared a post from Wise Royalty, from Amina. She was saying, like, in the end, it doesn't matter how developed you think your technological advancements seem to be. Nature is always going to win. In the end, nature will always win. It's not like, oh, nature's primitive. We have technology. You fuck people.
Trying to make it seem like it, though.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking robots is more advanced than fucking people. No, it's not. It's not. Like,
yeah, there'll be a double-edged sword to that. I actually made a post that because it was inspired specifically by that post from them about nature, and I actually had this as a philosophical discussion in private. I'm going to share it here today. But
no longer private.
It had to do with the fact that we consider so much in the human world as not being nature. But
say it again?
Yeah.
There's so much about what's going on in the human world as not being nature, but it is. One, because we are nature. Two, because everything that we've created, even we call it man-made, you're just saying another fancy way to say it was nature-made from nature things. Everything that we have comes from the earth, even their technology. Technology comes from minerals and metals and wood, whatever, plastics, and all the stuff that comes from earth. So when I said that, really, we're all nature. Everything comes from nature. Even the technology we're using is nature. It's just a different way, an evolution of nature, because if we say, well, it's man-made, it's not really nature. You look at bees. Bees pollinate the earth. That flower didn't get up and pollinate itself. that bee needed to exist in order to land on that flower, take that flower and make something else with it and plant other flowers. So when I look at, in order for this evolution of where humanity is going, we're bees. We take something, we mold it into something else, it becomes this. We're moving the way we're supposed to. All of this is trans, and it comes with the good sides and bad sides to it. You know, a bee is perfect for pollinating the earth and making honey. You don't want to get stung by one of them bitches, though. It still has a stinger on its ass. And if you fuck with their hive, they can kill people, but they're necessary. You know what I mean? So the same way with humans, we are necessary, but we can kill people. We can kill nature, and nature can kill us. Humans are ruled by Uranus and Aquarius. Aquarius and Uranus also rule over hurricanes and tornadoes. Hurricanes and tornadoes are destructive as fuck, but they're also needed for Earth to renew. So it's the same way that I look at it with people, that we're going to have fucked up motherfuckers. They're just as necessary as the ones that are actually making ground. But to separate ourselves as to saying that we're removing ourselves from nature or that we're not in tune with nature, we are very much in tune with nature.
That's some Aquarius way of thinking.
We wouldn't even exist in this realm to do what we're doing if nature was like, this is it. You know, we are nature. We're doing
the difference between the bee and the bear and the deer and the dolphin or whatever is that they are cooperative because they are submissive to the laws of nature. Humans, some humans, like you said, not all, but some have decided to go to war with nature, and they're utilizing technology as a way to actually somehow become superior to nature, to somehow subvert nature, to somehow, you know what I'm saying? I think you're right. Like when people say God wrote the Bible. No, somebody who calls themselves prophetic downloaded some intuitive or psychic knowledge about what God was saying, and it got printed on paper and went to a printing press, and that's how God didn't write. Like I get what you're saying. Like humans create everything. This chair I'm sitting in, we create things, right? We take nature. We took wood from the tree. They chopped the wood up. Whatever it became a wooden desk. Like we make things, but this whole idea of it's like this idea of this God person, this God thing, we can improve on that. We can do better than this God entity did. You know, like, and I get we make it, you know, person loses a leg, they now have a prosthetic leg. That was a technological advancement that allowed the person to still walk. So yes, we do create things to advance humanity, to assist humanity, but there's a fine line between advancement for the betterment of humanity, for the, you know, the growth and evolution, like you said, of humanity, and just a fast route to self-destruction.
And that's where my understanding, even coming from astrology, and this is where I get my philosophy and belief from, having studied all of these charts. And this could be controversial in a sense, because even though I hear that and all of the things that go wrong and what we shouldn't be doing and stuff, and my personal chart is going to express what I believe is wrong and not wrong. You know, I was designed to believe that these things are right and these things are wrong, and that's just the path that I'm following, which also leads me to the fact that if self-destruction is within the design, then we self-destruct. That's just the conclusion that I come to, is that one, for people to even think that, you know, oh, we're improving a God or we're doing better than a divine source. We are the divine source. The divine source is experiencing itself through us in every facet of life possible. The divine wants to experience the lowest of itself and the highest of itself and the middle ground of itself. And the same thing with animals. If we were actually to even get into the animal world and we believe that they're being submissive or that they're not going against nature, they do some pretty fucking traumatic shit. You know, a hippo will munch its baby in half if it gets in the way, because hippos are just fucking terrorists of the animal kingdom, and they don't give two fucks, you know. And then you have a specific insect, I think it's a wasp, that this motherfucker is a straight horror movie. It injects its eggs into a caterpillar, and it's just like aliens. They live in there, and then the babies burst themselves out of the living caterpillar so that they can live. What the fuck? Okay, when you have things in the ocean that don't need to exist, in my opinion, why are they here, and how come they were made like that? Why do they look like that? And if I try to get in tune with nature and I go into the forest, I am a tiger's lunchbox. So it's not even going to recognize that maybe it shouldn't kill me because I'm here to help the brain. Whatever the case is,
it doesn't have that emotional awareness. It's not. That's not the consciousness.
But then they also express that maybe they might, right? Because you see that you have a dog who is, you know, going to save baby kittens instead of eating them, or, you know, tigers that take on puppies as best friends. How do they know that they're nice to this motherfucker, but out, you know, in another situation, they eat him? Whatever the case may be. That is how complex life is. That is how multifaceted it is. That is how beautiful it can be, and absolutely horrific. Even on, do you want something injecting itself into you and then bursting out of your stomach? That's some wild shit. That's in
It does happen though, when you think about it.
Right, yeah, we can.
It does happen.
You know, and sometimes you don't. You have humans being born with 8 legs, and even though India, and not to say anything about that, will look at that like God is being recreated and reborn. If they came to America and you had 8 legs and 2 heads, we'd be like, yo, whether we wanted to or not. That's interesting. That's new. That must be difficult, because the person who is actually like that every day wishes that they only had 2 arms and 2 legs. So nature itself does some really perverse shit, horrific shit. And because we are nature, we are doing the same thing. We are doing shit, and we're doing horrific and pervasive shit as well. We are
God experiencing itself.
We are in tune with nature. There is really nothing that's throwing us off course. We are designed as we are meant to be designed. We are injecting eggs inside of caterpillars that burst out of its stomach. That poor caterpillar is about to be a beautiful butterfly. And we are also dogs who save baby kittens instead of eating them. We are the same. And that's how I see it in nature and in human life. We do the same shit.
Did anybody see Life of Pi?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect
with
example.
The guy on the boat with the tiger.
Yes, and the tiger, it's like you think, oh, like you said, your lunch meat to the tiger. Well, the tiger and the guy end up supporting each other. Mm-hmm. They both speak 2 different languages, but somehow or another, because survival was on the table, that movie just brought in to question everything you addressed right there. Like, well, damn, was the tiger empathic enough to know that he needed the human to survive, and the human needed the tiger? But remember at the end when the tiger walked off into the woods, and he said, this was so deep, I never forgot this. He said
his fear kept him alive.
After all the months we spent together on the boat or whatever, and we're trying to survive, he just unceremoniously walked off into the jungle. And it just brought back to this question that they started the movie, asking, which is,
are you out of your mind? Who gave you the permission to come back here?
I just wanted to say hello to him.
You think that tiger is your friend? He is an animal, not a playmate.
Animals have souls. I have seen it in their eyes.
Is the animal, does he have a certain level of emotional? That's the whole question. Does he have emotional?
Dad asked him that.
Because remember, they were like, oh, in the beginning, they said, oh, he's just a savage beast. He doesn't care. He doesn't. And they've said, for fuck tigers, I've heard this said about actual cats. They're like, cats don't give a fuck about you.
They don't.
They
don't.
They got Cancer in the 12th house. They're Leo. Who by Leo? Look at that.
They got Cancer in the 12th. They don't give a fuck.
They do.
You thinking they're rubbing their fur on you because they want to get close to you. They're like, rub me, bitch. I want you to touch me. That's fucking you. I don't care about your emotional needs. Rub me. Cats are like that. They're like that.
Right.
That's true.
But even, as we said, these things that are expressed in nature, which is why I always push people, if they're going to study astrology, you study it with the world.
Yes.
You know, look at cats are Leo. Why do you think they don't give a fuck? Cancer in the 12th house. What do they do in public? You just notice all of these things about nature, and then you realize that people are doing this because charts are, all the planets are the same for everything on this planet, on the entire world, on the globe, from down to rocks. You know, minute organisms. They all move with this frequency. They all move with this perfect design that people don't even realize is absolutely perfect. One of my favorite analogies was when Ross said that in order for for rain to come out, everything must have been aligned all the way leading up to it before the perfect water drops came down, before it was formed. So all you have to think, if you look back in hindsight, how mathematically and perfect everything had to be, and now it gets to rain. So I don't think there are any mistakes here, even though we may feel that way because we are meant to project that energy. We're supposed to feel it all. God gave us all the emotions. We're going to be angry about shit. We're going to be Cancer about shit. We're going to be Taurus about shit. We're going to be Capricorn about shit. We're going to have all of that and exemplify it in real time. We're right on track. And if that leads to us having to evolve to let something new come and take our place, then that is also meant, because there are creatures who have, you know, dinosaurs had to die. Now mammals get to run, but they was lunch meat, right? Right. It was this big, but they had to experience some kind of extinction in order to evolve into something else. The polar shift had to happen to the Earth, where it was warm on this side and cold, and everything on this side fucking died, and now everything that was all hibernating gets to experience warmth, and now they get to flourish. So we're right on the side. I don't, we're going to feel the way
Aquarius.
Yeah,
Aquarius coming up. Destruction of the people, like you said. If that's what's meant to happen,
that's what's gonna happen. Live your path.
First time.
Yes.
Right, exactly. Do you know how many ice ages we had? That's why they talk about, here we go. I'm going into global warming. Yeah. But we're like the ones that they can actually track. We're like on our 5th ice age. And at the end of it. So that means that the planet got cold 4 times before, which means it also started getting hotter. Which means that anything that was there was going, man, it's starting to warm up in this motherfucker. We need to stop driving cars. Like, we don't drive cars. What's making it So here we are. We're in this cycle where we're going, man, shit's starting to heat up. So you're going, and it's happened before. Yeah. If we destroy ourselves, it's happened before. If animals go extinct, it happens all the time. New ones are being discovered as other ones are dying. Because now that this was a predator and used to eat I'm going off on a tangent, but I get so excited about this subject. There's a game called Mass Effect. I don't know if anybody's ever played that. It's one of my favorite games, right? And in that game, they talk about how every 50,000 years, an alien race that's all built off of technology comes and destroys all life forms in the galaxy. And they've done this for a millennia. They absorb what they want from there, and then they kill off everything else. And when they kill off everything else, after 50,000 years, whatever was left, they leave all the primitive animals and species on the planet. And then they grow up into being now the new intelligent beings. So there was one where they actually discovered a Promethean or I think that's what his name was, whatever, who survived. They had him hibernated, in cryogenic. You get what I'm saying. Anyway.
Cryogenic.
Yeah, they froze him. And they released him 50,000 years later. And he was explaining, 50,000 years ago, we were going through the same thing as you, complete annihilation. And he saw a species that were really smart lizard type people. They only lived to be like 34, but that's because their brains moved rapidly, right? And he looked at him and he said, 50,000 years ago, you used to be a delicacy. They used to eat them because they were only little baby lizards. But after 50,000 years, they evolved into a highly intelligent species.
Wow.
Yeah, so it kind of gives me that idea here. Mass Effect.
It's a movie?
It's a video game.
Oh, okay. I'm about to watch this shit tonight.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Astro G Ladies Roundtable. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when we post a new video. Also, be on the lookout for us going live, which starts this week. Peace, y'all, and thanks for watching.